What's up, yo? Honestly, this video I just wanted to make, no like crazy editing or anything, but like just real talk, intimate. And what I wanted to talk about is how it's okay to be lonely, and my experience with being lonely, because as men, I feel like a lot of us go through a lot of periods in life where we feel alone or depressed because of that. And I just want to explain my point of view and what I've learned from it. Like, being for real, like, most of my life I've felt pretty lonely, or I haven't had that many people around who really understood me or who was like there at all times. I always had like family, friends around, but they lived pretty far away, and it would be like sometimes we just wouldn't talk as much. And I didn't really just have like friends who were like just my friends. I remember in elementary, like, even back then, like, I wouldn't really have that many close friends. I mean, like, I was chill with everyone, but not that many people I was super close with, who I hung out with outside, or really just like was my friend and I was there. It's like that tight knit friendship. And I remember I used to come home every day, and my dad would always ask me, "Who do you hang out with at school today?" Because he kind of like knew about that. I always like try to just be like, "Oh, this person, that person." I didn't really feel that connection back then, or have that like close friends. I saw everyone around me, it looked like they had these close friends. I felt like I was one who kind of just, had like acquaintances around me. I was real quiet in elementary school, and because of this, I became a little more outgoing in middle school. And I never really had problems with like the social skills stuff. Like, I could easily hold conversations and talk to people and stuff. So in middle school, I like made a lot of those like baseline friends. I talked to a lot of people, but I never felt that like deeper connection, Felt like I could make a lot of friends, but never like get close, which just left me lonely. And through that process, I made a lot of fake friends, like people who care in the moment, but won't care in the future. And like a piece of advice I can give is, if you have 1,000 fake friends, you're gonna just feel just as lonely as if you have 0 friends, if not more. Because a lot of the times, like in that stage, I remember I wanted like so bad to just get closer with these people, be a part of their lives, be someone they want to see, and just not feeling that reciprocated. It really hurt, and it really made you feel lonely. And I think especially, throughout middle school, especially towards the end, this kind of loneliness made me like seek relationships. Because if you have someone in your life, you think it'll make everything better. I think a lot of guys go through that, where like you just have this like loneliness or emptiness inside. So you go out and you seek a relationship thinking it will fix your emptiness. Now, getting into freshman year and like a little into it, I remember I got my first relationship, and I jumped into that relationship. And because I've been so lonely for so long, I was so attached. It wasn't like how, you know, like how you have your own life, they have their own life, and you just like come together beautifully. It was more like I was attached, I was obsessed. That was the center of my life, because I've been alone for so long, and I finally found this girl who cares about me. So this led me to do clingy things. I was clingy as hell. I was on that, and like I was just like probably even to the point where I would bother her. And because I was so much like this, I think maybe it was part of the reason in the end why she ended up breaking up with me. And in the end, I felt even more empty than I did before, because that hole that was finally filled was just ripped away. And because I needed that hole filled again so bad, I jumped into another relationship too quickly, and not really, thinking. It was very strong, it seemed, but I just was like right into that, no time to really even, reflect or grow. But I was just back in. And this relationship was honestly the other way around. You know, she was like really clingy with me because I kind of learned from the first one, like to chill on that clinginess. And she was just a lot clingier with me, and even as I got to get older and I started to form like more connections with people wanted to hang out and stuff. I feel like that relationship took away from being able to do that. That relationship lasted a year and a half. I couldn't like end things even when I felt it should be, because, you know, honestly inside I was scared I would like ruin something I have that's really special, or, you know, I would have that hole in me again. But I ended up, you know, getting the guts to end that year and a half relationship. And to be honest, after that, during like a period after that, I felt, you know, the most unlonely I ever felt in my life. You know, I was free to be me, but like I had good friends. I'm making like better connections with all these people. You know, I'm even reaching out to like other friends who like I've always kind of had around, but I want to always talk to them in that way, because like, you know, we weren't talking that much, and to reach out out of nowhere, it just felt like, oh, that would be random and weird. But like, honestly, if you miss your friends, or like there's someone you haven't talked to, reach out to them. That's a way to like strengthen a relationship with somebody. Something I learned about like friendships with people is they require, you know, effort. You gotta put effort into like wanting to hang out with someone, making plans, you know, FaceTime them, make a group chat, text these guys, you know, just some like, you can't just expect to talk to people in class a few times and expect you to get like tight with these guys. You know, you got to reach out and make an effort. And if you reach out and make an effort and these people don't reciprocate, then those aren't the people who are your friends, or who you're like should be friends with. You got to find those people who like match you and who like are tight with you, and people you can just, you know, go along with easily. I know a lot of guys, you know, struggle with loneliness, so I hope this video just like helps some people, to be honest. And I remember like throughout the loneliness, some lonely nights, things that I would still like try to have fun even while being alone. Like, you know, I would play some video games, story games I always loved, you know, just you and the game, enjoying that story. And honestly, that was enjoyable. Or some movies. I would watch these Batman movies, come home on Friday nights, watch it on my phone. They were good movies, and I enjoyed that too. So sometimes being lonely is okay. Like, that's a stage in your life. You're gonna meet people, you're gonna find new people. Sometimes it just takes time. Sometimes you gotta grow your character, grow who you are before you're, you know, meeting those people. Maybe it's not the right time in life, but learning to be okay during those lonely times is really important, because that adds to who you are. You know, doing some hobbies, doing things you love, even by yourself, like that's okay. I know a lot of times you feel like, I need to make this memory with this person, but if it's just by myself, what kind of memory is that? But that's wrong, because the memories you make by yourself are just as valid as anything else. Made some great memories by myself, and, you know, it might sound stupid, but just because you're lonely at this point in life, because you don't got these people who either, you know, fit the kind of friends you want, and you're not finding the people you want to be around, where you're growing as a person first, you're not a loser for that. You're not a loser for being lonely. You're just at a stage in life. Another thing about, you know, being alone, never really alone, because, you know, the Lord, God, He's always watching. And, you know, knowing that God is with you through all things, that also helps you get through things, you know. And praying to God, talking to God. You know, I got some nights where I just lay for an hour, and a lot of people in prayer will say, like, I'm asking for this, I'm sorry for this, thank you for this. But I mean, I got that in prayer sometimes. Sometimes I just lay talking to God like my best friend. Maybe I tell him about this girl I found pretty at school, or this thing that's stressing me out. And that also helped with loneliness. But also praying about meeting people who I really like vibe with. I remember I used to pray to God not even too long ago. Give me these like friends, these people who I like really love being around. They're chill guys, they're fun to be around, good people, and you know, they're like just people I can go hang out with and just have a great time. And God gave me those people not too long after. Prayer's real, God's real. And he's gonna answer those prayers and bring those people to you. Also sometimes like just you gotta get out there to make friends and meet people. You gotta remember like there's definitely other guys in your shoes. There's definitely other guys who feel lonely like you do or don't have that as tight-knit of friends. You know, as I got older, you know, before I used to think it was like mainly just me, but as I got older I started to see it more. Not all guys have these like super close friends all the time. They're in your shoes or in the shoes I was in. They know a lot of guys, maybe chill with a lot of people, but they don't got that many people who they go hang out with. They go FaceTime when they had a bad day or something bad's going on, or they tell about, you know, the girls they make. And knowing that a lot of people are in your shoes, you know, that like just thinking about that, like there's other people like that. So going and like talking to those people, making those friends and getting close with those people, it's like you're not behind or you're not a loser or anything for being behind or feeling lonely. But yeah, I really do believe alone time is like character development. If you're always with someone, if you're always like having fun, and you never had those lonely days, you're not going to appreciate it as much in the future. And just having that alone time kind of helps you develop like, you know, those memories of being by yourself, and you know, maybe it helps you get into like your hobbies and stuff. It makes you, you know, talk to God more. Maybe even shouldn't rely on that to talk to God just because you're lonely, but maybe that's what started your relationship with God. Because I feel like part of my relationship with God did start from when I was super lonely. And it's just like, just because you're in that stage doesn't mean you'll always be like that. It's okay to feel lonely. I felt lonely for a long time. It's really development. And it can make you rush into a relationship or think you want something that you don't need. You're good on your own. You're fine on your own. And God has time in for you. Just pray to him, talk to him, you know. And the right people come into your life. And if it's not yet, that's okay, you know. Who knows, maybe learn some guitar, work out, start a YouTube channel, do things that you don't gotta rely on other people for you to feel happy or for you to feel fulfilled. It's okay to be lonely. Just doing those goals and those passions, talking to God, all that, to be honest, and being able to enjoy things by yourself or enjoy a night on your own. That's just really helped. I just hope one of y'all, if you liked the video, check out my channel, subscribe, because I might make more videos like these. And you know, I hope y'all do well. God bless y'all. Just always remember what's God's important in life, and everything's gonna work out because he's got his hands around you. He's driving the wheel. Alright, God bless y'all.